What's going on, YouTube? Listen, I don't want to waste any time. Yes, I'm well aware REN has dropped a new song. I think he's dropping a new music video today, but unfortunately for you guys, not unfortunately for me, it's my wife's birthday, so I'm taking her away. We're going to go celebrate, have a big weekend. I'm excited, but I don't want to miss out on giving you some REN today. I'm well aware we did Money Game Part 1 last week, so guess what? Here, right now, this is Money Game Part 2. 1.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narc.
Wow. Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for you. I love just kind of that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's almost like reading from a teleprompter or like Morse code coming in, the way that he taps in with that rhythm. And we've talked about how REN can just like take his voice. And what I love about his creativity is that he uses his own voice as an instrument for the production. So right there, like the home, he just cooks that into the instrumentation itself. And you start off, man, with a little bit of that, I don't know, it's kind of like classic rock vibes to it. But then it just hits you out of left field because you get punched in the mouth with like some of the brass sections that come in. Dun, dun, dun. This is very laid back, man. Got a very cool swagger to it, bluesy. And then right there, we just get hit with the trumpets. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria.
Narcissist mindset spread like malaria. And we talked about this on the last Money Game reaction. You know, one of the themes is the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And we have a system that just continues to extend and elevate that separation and that gap. And narcissists in this case, I mean, think about the world that we live in on social media. I mean, it really is contributing to a narcissistic culture if you think about it. Like even what I do, I'm a hypocrite in a sense because I'm trying to get as many likes as possible. Well, all those likes do is glorify and celebrate what I'm doing, right? You're rewarded by likes, you're rewarded by shares. So it's all about kind of like you. Welcome to the world of the narcissist. I mean, he's got what, politicians there? Brexit crisis. Oh, interesting. So definitely commenting on politicians and their narcissism as well, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And you have to be careful with the ploys of power because yes, it can seep down. It is like a drug. And once you get that first whiff of it, yeah, it's very hard to control it. Are we getting too heavy? No, we're not. This is REN. Let's do it. One more time.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show. America, Britain, split.
Did you hear that? Like the gun cocking, sit back and watch the show, and they showed American Dad, but this is America. I can't help but think that's a critique of the amount of violence that we have in our country and the amount of weapons that are available. And then I also like the line, narcissist mindset spread like malaria. And just a little thing on malaria, you know, that's another rich get richer, poor get poorer. Well, who is most affected by malaria and where are the most deaths? Well, in the poorer countries where they can't afford the drugs that are needed to cure malaria, because malaria is a curable disease. You know, you can save lives, but you need to have the drugs, you need to have the system in place for early detection. And unfortunately, in a lot of, especially sub-Saharan African countries, they don't have that. And there's just way too many deaths that are preventable from malaria every year. But another example of the way our global system is set up, where, hey, if you're rich, you're okay health-wise. If you're poor, good luck to you.
We're living in panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show. America, Britain, split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These counterfeit
government, hypocrites, counterfeit, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I feel like he should be doing a late night talk show with that like husky, deeper voice.
Through fickle shit, a government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on, needlessly bleeding.
Not adequate, and you hear the change falling as the ad-lib right there, and I can't help but think they're not adequate because they're only doing it for power and for the power of money. I was going to say the power of the dollar, but in this case, That's Nigel Farage, isn't it? So we're looking at UK Parliament. So power of the pounds, people.
Politicians sit in Parliament, not adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise.
Wow.
Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die.
Needlessly bleeding, our resources dry. Da 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 da. It's still like a very, almost like a marching band, right? Like that percussion as we're marching into step. Staccato, 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 and hold. Very cool, just punching in with those schemes. And then right here, there's like a little thing to his voice. Boom, boom. What's he doing?
I turn a blind eye if it means
Yeah, he's going do, 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 do. Oompa, loompa, doopity, Ren. Again, another example though of him like taking his voice and hey, get rid of the percussion. I will make my mouth the percussion piece for this section.
Adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die. If number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire.
Oh.
Only joking, only.
And for my American audience, number 10 Downing Street, we obviously know the White House where the president sits. In this case, number 10 Downing Street is where the prime minister sits. And in the case of lockdowns, it's where all the parties happen and all the fiestas go down.
I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing. Don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent. There's no need to be unpleasant.
Peaceful adolescent, need to be unpleasant. Oh, the multi-syllables, Ren, give them to me.
Only joking, only messing. Don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent. There's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain while my fingers on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way.
I love kind of this playful, but there's like a low-key dangerous undertone to it, isn't it? Like set it all on fire. But if you start to peel back the layers, you see that he's like setting up and building a logic and an argument for why, hey, maybe if these things happen, it wouldn't be so bad necessarily. I'm just kidding. I'm only playing. This is a thesis. Don't take it too seriously, right? I'm just penning this out. I'm not taking action to it.
Oh, rain, 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 rain. A storm, it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we died upon the plane.
Wow. So we went from Oxfam.
Rain, 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 rain.
We went from that little shot of Ren there in Money Game, right? Hitler's Nazis. Ren again. Donald Trump. Putin. Hitler. Sir Alan Sugar? Oh, he's pointing the blame. You're fired. Let's go. That's clever. It's easier to blame. Alan Sugar does The Apprentice for the UK compared to obviously Trump to Sugar. I get the Apprentice connection right. Oh, let's go. Let's go. We got some visual connections in this. But also, speaking of connections, Money Game, the original hook, he sings this very same hook, but it's got sort of a different tonation this time. It's not as dark. It's like smoother. He's just singing his heart out on this bit right here, man. It feels very nostalgic as well. Like, take me back to the old school. It's easier to blame. We point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game. Man, I love that. It is. It gives me some Motown chills. This old money game. This old. Money is a game and the ladder we climb tons of saints. That's clever. Money is a game and the ladder we climb. And right there you see the ladder of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? This I mean, how can your voice get up there? Are you an angel? Money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step one, you must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island, stockpile them high until they're hide them on an island, stockpile them high. Love that internal condensed scheme. And I love how he sets this up, right? Simple economics in a nursery rhyme. And he literally uses a nursery rhyme and peels back the layers of that nursery rhyme to talk about supply and demand economics. In this case, selling seashells by the seashore. But if you ever thought about that nursery rhyme, she sells seashells by the seashore. Wow, I'm tripping over that. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck? Oh, pitter piper, pickle peppers, pitter piper, pickle peppers. How many pickle peppers did pitter piper pick? I got that one. I got my P's down. Anyways, I'm going off on tangents. But if you actually think about that, why would you sell seashells by the seashore? Because they're a lot of supply. But if you actually think about that, why business-wise would you sell seashells by the seashore? Because anybody could surely walk the shoreline and just pick up seashells. And therefore, there's no demand for it because there's an overwhelming supply. So what do you have to do? You must create a sense of scarcity. Make it seem valuable to people. Because, there's no like exact value for products. The only value for products is how much we as a consumer are willing to pay for that product. Economics 101. Welcome to REN. Let's go.
Because there's loads on the sand. Step one, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me. Take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step two, gotta make the people think that they want them. Really want them. Really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product.
Hit them like Bronson? That was the Tom Hardy movie where he played the British criminal Bronson. Didn't the dude set up like a bunch of hits while he's in prison too? And he was a bare knuckle fighter and he had like the Mario mustache. Yeah, Bronson.
Gotta make the people think that they want them. Really want them. Really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment.
So get it, like hitting you because he was a very violent dude, but also like hit him with it. Hit him with the product placement. Hit him with the advertisement. Get the social media influencers involved. I mean, which is just crazy marketing nowadays. A single influencer just promotes a product to you and everybody's like, buy, 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 buy.
Really want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste, man. Free. It's monopoly.
That's it. That's it. It's the fear of missing out, of wanting to fit in. Because, we are, as a society, we're not in this world alone. So as humans, we do have sociological needs. We need to be accepted by the groups of humans around us. So we feel this need for validation from other people, from other humans, right? We're getting a little bit into sociology and into psychology now. But that need for acceptance is what a lot of advertisers will take advantage of because they want to create these trends. They want to create this overwhelming demand so that you feel like you are somehow missing out for being accepted within society by not having certain products, by not seeing and consuming certain things. You were the one who was left on the outside because you don't want to be left out of the conversations. You don't want to feel like you are, not a part of this, a part of what's cool, a part of what's trending.
Featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste, man. Free. It's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be a new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality.
Wolf of Wall Street right there, very appropriate.
Expand, expand, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. Five. Why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6. Sun, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7.
Sell diamonds, sell rocks like crack rocks. Hey, why not sell anything? Because we've already thrown our morals aside. It doesn't matter anymore. We're selling anything to make profits.
6. Sun, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock.
Wow.
7. Press.
Right? Surely there's enough water in the ocean that it should be free and widely available to fish. Yet someone has found a way to commoditize that, right? To sell it to fish. See what he's doing here? It just seems so absurd. But also, it's not that absurd when you start to think about it, because if someone could monetize it and make a profit off of it, they would. If someone could monetize time, they absolutely would. And in a sense, time does get monetized every single day in the workplace.
Sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7. Press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States. 8. Big smile, make big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. 9.
Wow, the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. Oh, I got some things to say on this.
The people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name.
Wow, polarize the people. Controversy is the game.
9. Polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10. The world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain, rain.
That was very, very clever. And see, I always think there's an art in taking more complex subjects and finding a way to break them down so they're more easily digestible. And REN just did that, gave us the law of supply and demand, in economics, but he also gave us the origins of corporation building. It starts with a simple idea, right? Selling seashells. And what do you do in order to be successful at that? Well, you start to create this scarcity. You create this want, you create these trends, and then you start using marketing and advertising and tools to psychologically trick and game your audience to get them to place more value on it, to make them feel like they're missing out, so they purchase it. As you get more successful, what do you naturally do? You look to expand. What else can we sell? Because it's all about profits now. It's not about morals. It's about what we can sell and how much we can make from it. So let's sell oil. Screw it. Let's sell everything. Let's sell whatever we can get our hands on. Let's sell water. Let's sell time if we could. And since you're more successful, now we have to expand, right? So let's tear down some trees. Let's build real estate, build these properties, set up a real corporation, come up with a logo, come up with branding. He's basically give you the origin story of corporations, right? And we're kind of fast forwarding through time as it goes on. And what's happening? We're destroying the environment around us. There's some other issues that he's speaking on and pointing out as he progresses further. And then eventually we get to a point where we're so powerful, right? Because we have so much money and wealth. And now what do we want? Well, we want more power. We want more influence. So now we're going to step into government and politics. And these are things that actually happen, because I can think of a president of the United States that started off as a very successful and wealthy businessman that became president. Hello, Donald Trump. But there's a lot of them in the past. I mean, Joe Biden was successful at business too and had some wealth. Well, I mean, listen, the man wasn't poor, that's for sure. But basically, now you get to buy influence, right? Because now you're a politician, you've risen, and it didn't matter how you rose. And now, what can you do? What is the culmination of all this power? You can write your own narrative. You can say that you're the big hero of the story, that you're the good guy defending all these values, doing all these great things. But what you're sweeping under the rug is what you did to get to this point. And I'm going to speak a little bit on capitalism and democracy as well and some of the dangers of that. But let's see how much further we go with REN right now, because I did a lot of this monologue.
REN, a storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we not upon the blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game.
And we are. You know, as much as we want to point the finger at how corrupt the system is, we're still a part of it, and we still contribute to this capitalist society. And also, I talked about this in the previous breakdown, but rain, like rain when it rains down, but also money raining from the sky. But it could also play off of rain, like the rain of money, the rain of power, REIGN. Hang on, you know what I noticed too? I'm trying to figure out when this piano comes in, because this was a new instrument added.
And you sell seashells on this. Lies out the gate 9, polarize the people,
Right, everything's raised here. Polarize the people, keep us divided. It's left, it's right. It's not our fault. It's the Republicans' fault. Well, it's not our fault. It's the left's fault. They're the evil ones. And we constantly do this. And it's, you know, simple. Keep the people under you divided. If they're distracted, if they're going at each other's throats, and you continue to have Team A versus Team B, it happens in British politics as well. Tory versus Labour, you know, one team versus the other. That whole team is evil. It's not about individuals. It's about grouping them into a collective, and just that's how we can understand it. It's much simpler when you break it down into good versus evil. Everybody can relate to that. So let's just pick teams and pick sides. It's about winning and losing. But we're so distracted, we don't ever think about the roots of the issue. We don't realize that we're getting divided and conquered in that way. We don't look at who is really the puppet masters of it all.
It's the game, it don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10.
Right there, 10. When he says 10, that's when that first piano key hits.
Is yours, step out and...
Right, the world is yours. Because I love the piano, because the piano evokes a different type of emotion. Everything's kind of more aggressive and building up and rugged and kind of dirty. But right here, it smooths out. And it, you know, a piano is a more beautiful, melodic, thoughtful instrument.
Age to a round of applause.
Now that we've achieved the mountaintop, it only makes sense that the piano happens.
Liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain.
I love that. I love how this piano is introduced now, because even though REN is still saying, like, you're a liar, a devil, a cheat, but everybody's applauding you, right? That's kind of like the misdirection of the piano as well, and the choice to use the piano there, because you feel like, oh, this should be celebrated. This is a beautiful moment, but it's not really.
A storm it comes our way, and no surprise.
Wow.
Blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game.
Who Who Wants to Be a Millionaire saw winner. Scrooge McDuck as well. I love that.
This old money game. This old.
That was fun. So, we do have a system that definitely benefits and enhances those who have wealth versus those who do not. And those who do not have the same opportunities. And yes, there are some people who can climb the ladder who can overcome insurmountable odds, right? And that's why we focus on those stories, because we want to highlight and make everyone believe that they can all climb this ladder. But one of the dangers we have, whether it's in the constitutional republic known as the United States, other democracies in Europe, is you have all this discussion of freedom and being able to elect your leaders and power of the people. But what we don't appreciate is that we have a system that operates under democracy, but you also have a system that operates via capitalism. And one of the scarier things of capitalism is that there's not always oversight, true oversight for CEOs and the true influencers who have large amounts of wealth. And what I mean by that is we as people do not get to elect who is the CEO of a company, especially private companies that have a lot of power and wealth as well, right? And see, the rules of a giant conglomerate or a multinational are very different than the rules that normal society operates in. You know, respecting our fellow humans, freedom of speech, things like this. Corporations are powered by what? Earnings reports, quarterly reports, right? The power of increasing their wealth and growing and growing and growing and expansion. That is the basic law of capitalism and corporations, is profit. And that's what controls them and what rules them, right? So you have this system where we celebrate these freedoms, and yet in a sense, there's not necessarily freedoms over here, right? Because of this pursuit of profit and how people who are wealthy or the most successful get celebrated, well, you're creating conditions and situations where greed can really take control, where people can justify doing bad things and taking advantage of other people. And it has happened many times in the past for the sake of profit and for the sake of lining their own pockets and increasing their wealth. And see, the thing that happens is that politics and politicians are supposed to have more oversight over this and hold these people accountable when they do bad things. But when you get to a certain level of influence, guess what? We don't have caps on campaign spending in the United States. So to be president of the United States, that's going to cost you hundreds of millions of dollars. Where are you going to get that money? You're going to get it from some of these wealthy business owners, right? You're going to get it from people who have so much disposable income, they can't even keep track of it. And what does that give them? All of a sudden, you are held accountable to them. So now these people that we didn't elect are dictating what the people who we did elect do. And that is one of the dangers of the system. And I think that's something that REN really points out here. You know, as we all dedicate ourselves to this pursuit of wealth and the celebration of it, you don't realize some of the effects, because humans are imperfect. Humans have flaws and humans can make mistakes. And when you have a system that creates these conditions where greed can rule and profit can control the actions and lives of so many, it can be dangerous. Anyways, that's my political, economic, sociological, and psychological rant for the day. Thank you so much, REN, for sending me down this train. But I tell you what, man, I've made music like this for years. I've talked about these issues. It's so refreshing and amazing to see another independent artist shed light on this and do this in such a clever, creative way. I fucking love this one, man. REN, you were Knoxville certified. Hope you guys like today's video. Listen, if you're somehow here at the end, subscribe, notifications on. It really does go a long way. It supports the channel, helps me out a whole hell of a lot. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay positive. This one, Knoxville. You know, I'll catch you again.